leaders together from SADC and EAC is very critical. And it's critical for the same reason that if you look for solutions in isolation, then you're likely to build an opportunity for forum shopping where presidents will start looking for allies and then build their case and run away from the critical issue. And the critical issue is basically why is there conflict, and why is M23 up in arms? So unless we address those critical issues, the issues of politics of self-interest, where leadership wants to attend to issues of a select group of citizens in a particular country at the expense of other citizens who they brand as citizens belonging to another country, simply because of the geographical demarcation of African states, which makes one, despite the linguistic homogeneity, to be in one particular country and other speakers of the same language in another country. Yeah. And from where I see it, I think President Kagame has raised very critical issues. I think we've seen a history of very critical pathways to finding a solution from both President Tshisekedi and other presidents who've been there in terms of trying to find a solution, including President Uhuru Kenyatta. And where we have reached, it's not a question of who is right and who is wrong. It's a question of why is it that there is conflict? Why is it that there's a group of people in DRC called the M23 who are up in arms? Is it possible for all these leaders to come with clean hands on the table, facilitated by leaders who have nothing but the interest of Africa as a whole and security of this region, to find a common solution, a solution that would ensure that if you're a citizen of a country, you're treated as such, irrespective of the language that you speak, irrespective of the community that exists in the other side.
If I may buttress his points,
okay.
These artificial boundaries we're talking about were, I understand there was a conference in Berlin a long time ago where white men came with a piece of paper and divided, this shall be Kenya, this shall be Uganda. And that is not long ago, Kenya's vice president was called Moody Awori, while his brother was an ICT minister in Uganda. And these people come from the same family, but they were simply divided by an artificial boundary. And we shouldn't allow Africans ourselves to let those artificial boundaries create unnecessary animosities and tensions.
We will come to you. Just give me a minute, Morara. Hesbon, is it possible, you've raised pertinent questions and I want perhaps to buttress on them. Is it possible for these African leaders to come with these clean hands to the table? How dirty are they?
Well, I don't think they're dirty. I think it's just a question of what interests do they have? And are those interests converging at a space where it is a common African citizen who benefits? And I think it's a question of give and take, that at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be what the leaders get out of these processes. It doesn't have to be what leaders don't get out of this process. It has to be about the people. And I think the history of DRC, for historians, tells you of a very checkered country. A country that is bedeviled by conflict simply because of the wealth that it has. And to a large extent, it's not just a question of these African leaders coming with clean hands. It's a question of these African leaders disentangling themselves from, the Western influence and